Hi, it's Robert Gerlach here, and this is my story. When I was a child, we went to church, did all the church things, church family. I wasn't born again. So in that journey, there's about 4 things that I picked up, and one was I really felt dumb, not smart. I really lacked the ability for English and all that stuff. Really struggled at school, and my value was very low. I didn't think I had much to give, much to input at all. And the terrible self-esteem I also had, and I had a fear of death. And that really consumed me. I was so worried about people dying around me. It was just crazy. Anyway, as my journey started, I'm growing up and still going to church, everything like that. And then as I got married, I stopped going to church, and things were getting crazy and stuff like that. I was struggling for money, and everything was starting to fall apart. It was funny. I wasn't born to get out the church. I was doing pretty well, but as I pulled away, life started getting tough. And I got to a space where I didn't actually really know if God was real. I really didn't. And I felt that the Bible might have been written by a few cluey guys. And anyway, through all this struggle, all of a sudden my brother had cancer. And that really rocked my world, because I love my brother a lot. And through this journey, I met up with him one day, and he just came back as he did the chemo and everything. And he came back and he said, "Rob, I really need you." Now, my brother's a guy that really doesn't need anyone. He's a very confident guy. And when he said that, I felt, wow, this is, for him to come to me with and how I thought about myself, this is really something. So when I got home, I couldn't contain myself. I fell on the floor and I was on my knees, and I said, "God, I don't even know if you're real. I don't. But God, if you are real, please, can I swap with my brother? Take me instead." And it's true, I said that. And as I did that, things dramatically changed. Within a very short time, maybe a week, maybe even less, my cousin rang up and said, "Hey, would you like to see me get baptised?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, I'm getting baptised for real," because when he was young, he was baptised as a little baby, what we're used to. Anyway, and I said, "Yeah, absolutely. So I went to the church, and then went through the church service, everything like that. And the message that the preacher had was amazing, very captivating. And as I am there, I would get this really sharp pain in the middle of my chest. It was amazing, like a blade down the middle of my chest. It was weird. And he said, "There's someone in there that has got a real sharp pain in his chest, there, right down the middle of his chest. He needs to come forwards." And I just didn't have the courage, and I never went up. The next day, I think, or the next 2 days, a friend of mine said, "Hey, you want to catch up with me tomorrow? Catch up with a few friends." And I thought, yes, I will. I'll catch up with him. So I went, and we got to their place late, and it was actually a church service. So we got halfway through the church service, and I said, "Lord, I'm not going to run. If you call me forwards, I'm not going to run this time." So as soon as I walked in, while the preacher's midway preaching, I get this pain right back on my chest. Same, just as intense. And the guy stopped straight away, and he said, "Hey, I need to do an altar call. Everyone's got to come for an altar call now." So I went up front and gave my heart to the Lord. I asked the Lord to be my Lord and Saviour, to forgive me of all my sins, and to be the Lord and Saviour of my life. And as I did that, he said, okay, now we're going to pray. So anyway, this like vision come in front of my eyes, just came down, and I saw my brother's face. Now I stopped because I thought, hang on, I'm supposed to be concentrating on Jesus. Why am I seeing my brother's face? But then all of a sudden, he was right in front of me and he said, don't stop. So I kept on going, and then I saw my brother's face, and then it like sort of scrolled down and I saw his lungs. And I saw all these lumps in his lungs, and I watched them all disappear, which didn't make sense because I was not aware that he actually had cancer in the lungs. I was not aware. I thought it was another place. So anyway, I got home really excited, thinking, wow, as I'm starting to understand. And I'll ring up my brother the next day, but I didn't get hold of him. I got hold of his wife because they were in a 10-hour operation to get the cancer cut out of his lungs. When I heard that, I got excited because I knew the cancer wasn't there anymore. And sure enough, 3 hours later, they rang back and said the cancer had gone. There was no cancer. I couldn't find any. So I said, Lord, I'm yours. Thank you so much. And a lot of different things happened, and just coming to think of it now, I remember the first time I read them. Now I was reading the Bible sort of as I was growing up, but never could make any heads or tails out of it, right? But after I'd been born again and I accepted the Lord, all of a sudden the Bible started making sense. And the very first passage I got to was in 1 Corinthians 2 verse 16. Now, I don't know, I can't remember offhand the full, but the bit that really stuck out in me was, and now you have the mind of Christ. And I leapt to my feet. And I was so excited because that was one of my biggest things that I was done. And I thought, if I have God's mind now, right, that means He created everything. How can I be dumb now? I can't be dumb anymore. I was pumped. It was incredible. And, as the journey goes on, I had this thing before about gifts, I knew God had given gifts and something like that. And I thought I was good at drawing. I knew that. I wasn't good at English, maths, or anything else. And I thought, how useless is this gift that you've given me, Lord? What am I supposed to do with drawing? How's it going to change anything? That's how I thought. We think like that. A lot of us think like that about our gifts. And I want to encourage you, because as I've travelled along together with the Lord, I've held His hand and given up my way and followed the Lord's way. If you give up your way and you start following the Lord's way, He's got a plan for you. He has a purpose for you. He created you for a reason. You were born right now for a purpose. You might think right now, with everything that's going on, you think, why am I born now? But the Lord wanted you to be born now. The devil would hate you to find out why. But God has a purpose and a plan, and it's very much linked up with your gifts, something that you really love to do together with the Lord. And the Lord showed me this vision because I'm a painter. Now I paint the visions that God gives me. I've painted in churches. I've gone around the world painting, and it's been such a great honour and such a fulfilling thing to be able to paint like I'm painting now. I also have my own YouTube channel, which is amazing. But coming back to this painting, the Lord said, King David, I don't know if you know the story, but he was a shepherd's boy. And he was in the field, and I envisioned him practicing with his sling. He didn't get to Goliath and just become good all of a sudden. It was a gift that he had, and he had this ability to use that sling, and he was so sure of the sling, and he chose it. So when he Who would have thought when he's sitting there practicing on the rock, looking after sheep, that he would be a king one day and using his gift, the sling, who he thought would be nothing, yes, for killing beasts and stuff that attacked the lambs, the sheep, but little did he know that he'd be taking down the main predator of Israel and paving a way to be king of the nation. Incredible. So what's the gift that you have that you think nothing about that can actually change the nation, your world, and the world around you? I'm going to leave you with that now. I hope that blesses you. It certainly blessed me, and this is my favourite picture. I painted it years ago, but it's still my favourite. And I just really hope this blesses you, and take care. Bye.